Mr. Dube, appreciate you taking some time for us. In your report, you identify 2 child protection agencies, including an Indigenous agency and 1 foster care company. How did they fail this child?
Well, several ways, and some failed more than others. We identified 1 agency that was contracted because Misty couldn't get the resources and supports she needed in the north and was placed in southern Ontario. The Southern Ontario agency, one of them, was contracted to provide one-to-one supervision, and they failed in that regard. That's why Misty was able to run away more than once. And so and we named them in the report, Johnson Family Services. They failed not only in their duty to Misty, but in the home agency that they contracted with to provide that one-to-one supervision. So, they left Misty and another youth unattended at one time. And then we found administrative errors, failing to document things and failing to provide the adequate supervision. But I think what was most troubling is that when Misty went missing, there was almost a sense of complacency and a lack of urgency to appreciate, and a failure to appreciate the risk. The national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls made a clear link between the child welfare system and the disappearance of murdered and missing girls. And so when Misty went missing, the risks were not theoretical. She came back from some of these disappearances, covered in vomit, having overdosed. There's evidence that she was sexually trafficked. So these were serious matters, and that's what we've addressed in our recommendations. Most of them directed at Johnson Family Services. The other none was Anishinaabe Abenuji Family Services, and there's a few recommendations for them as well. And those recommendations have been really well received, and we'll look forward to seeing those implemented.
You described the Johnson's Children's Services as having a checkered past. So, how are they still operating if this isn't the first time something like this has happened?
Well, they're licensed by the ministry, and our investigation focused on one young person in one situation. We didn't examine all of their homes across Ontario, so we can't draw too many conclusions about what's going on with the rest of their operations. We focused on one provider here.
Can you tell us more about this child identified as Misty and how she's doing today?
Yeah, Misty was 13 at the time of the incidents that we investigated back in 2020. So she's now 16 years of age. She lives with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. She's a suspected victim of sexual assault and human trafficking, and has a history of using street drugs. So imagine at 13 years of age, being that vulnerable, she really needed adequate supervision and care, the proper resources, and culturally sensitive resources as well. And it's very unfortunate that that was not available in the north, and she had to be sent far from her community to get them. I can't say too much about her current situation, although because it's confidential, what I can tell you is that we were in contact and have been in contact with her throughout the investigation. Some of our team are meeting with her to present the report to her now that it's finished. And she's closer to home, and she's in care at the current time.
Mr. Dube, we'll have to leave it there, but important work for sure. Appreciate you taking some time for us.
I appreciate your interest. Thank you.